you're going to be there. If the candy and Christmas didn't get them wound up, this definitely. I mean, they're excited. So, all right, everybody ready? Okay, places. Michael, you're sleeping. All right, here we go. Now, guys, you may have to move back a little bit because a little bit, because I'm going to have to move. How the Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss. Every who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now, please don't ask me why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on too tight. It could be perhaps that his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in the town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging up a mistletoe wreath. Under hanging their stockings. He snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled, with his grinchy fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow he knew all the Who boys and girls would wake up bright and early. They'd rush for their toys. And then all the noise. The noise, the noise, the noise. This is your best part. The noise, the noise, the noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast. And they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beef, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they would do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. Christmas, 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 welcome Christmas. And they'd sing, 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 and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this whole Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. For 53 years, I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? Then the Grinch had an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what I'll do. The Grinch laughed in his throat. And he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. It wasn't that quick, so we have to wait. Okay. You guys can do that. Thank you, dear. Okay, and he chuckled, and he clucked. What a great Grinchy trick! What a great Grinchy trick! With this coat and this hat, I look just like Saint Nick. All I need is the reindeer. The Grinch looked around, but since reindeer are scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, If I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max. And he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Over there. Okay, go behind. And then the Grinch said, "Giddy up." Giddy up. And the sleigh started down. The word to home, swear to who's, lay a snooze in their town. Okay, that's my guys right there. All their windows were dark. White snow filled the air. All the who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care. When he came to the first house on the square, God, you got to be quiet. This is stop number one.
Stop number one.
The old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch. But if Santa could do it, so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. When the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first thing to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. He took every present. Love the presents for take that. Okay. Around the whole room, pop guns, bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn, and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. And the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who's pudding. He took the roast piece. He cleaned out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch, show him the Who hash, even took the last can over there of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree. Up this way, buddy. And he started to shove when he heard the small sounds of coos like two doves. He turned around fast and he saw two small Cindy Lou Who's, who were not more than two. The Grinch had been caught by these tiny Who daughters who got out of bed for 2 cups of cold water. And they stared at the Grinch and they said, but you know that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up of a lie and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tots, the fake Santa Claus lie. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the children. Then he patted their heads and he got them each a drink and he sent them to bed. Okay. And when the Cindy Lou Who's went to bed with their cups, he went to the chimney and he stuffed the tree up. Up. This way. All right. Well, now, then the last thing he took was the log. for their fire. He took the lot for their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for this mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other whose houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the others whose mouses. It was 15:15 dawn, all the who's still abed. Oh. That's good. All the who's still a snooze when he packed up his sled. He packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings and the trappings. Anyway, 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip top to dump it. Where is he? Come over. Hoo-hoo to the whoos. He was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouth will hang open a minute or two. Then the who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, and it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. The sound was merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, they were singing without presents and all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. Okay, now wait a minute, guys. And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages. Now go back over there, guys. Boxes or bags. And he puzzled for 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. And the Grinch, okay, now back there to the chairs. And the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more. And what happened then, well, on there, guys. Well, in Whoville, they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys.
Everyone, those 2 are eating a little bit. They're just pretending.
He brought back the toys and the food for the feast. Okay, folks, go sit down.
No.
And he... Okay, go ahead. And he, the Grinch, he himself, now we're going to get back, carved the roast beast. All right. Okay, that's the end, guys.